So I was looking at the UFC Qatar card and I noticed something kind of interesting. We got two number one contender fights for the main and the co-main event, both being 5 round fights, which I think is great. I love when contender fights are 5 rounds. I think all of them should be 5 rounds. It's just good for the fighters to be able, if you're going to get a title shot soon, you should be fighting 5 rounds just to see if you're ready. And 5 rounds gives more time for the fight to play out. But I digress. And then I noticed this and I was like, I immediately hopped on Twitter or X. Follow me on X, by the way, at FugaziMMA. I said purple parlay for UFC Qatar. Both these guys are rocking the purple trunks for UFC Qatar. The purple trunks are fire, by the way. The new ones especially. This color is a lot better. It's a lot more of a royal purple. And it suits Armin because, you know, I'm billionaire and all. But both of these guys are rocking purple shorts. And I think both of them are going to win. But after noticing the number one contender pattern, I'm now rooting for them to win. I do love Dan Hooker. Okay, I do love Dan Hooker. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter if I root for him. He's probably going to get smashed by Saryukin unless he flukes something, right? Regardless, the reason I'm rooting for these two guys is obviously we're looking at one matchup and one matchup only to make. And that is Islam versus Ilia. We're talking about this fight after Islam's last performance against JDM. And it's a banger. Everybody wants to see this fight. But I don't think this should be next. It doesn't make any sense because Ilia just won the belt. Islam just won the belt. Let them settle down in their divisions first. I think this fight will probably happen at 170. Should it happen at 155? Probably. But here's the thing. If it happens at 170, it's going to be disadvantaging Ilia. If it happens at 155, it's going to disadvantage Islam because Ilia is too small for 170, while Islam is too big for 155. But you can't just, that's got to happen somehow. Ilia's the one chasing Islam. He's the one that said, oh, I'm going to come up to 170. So I think unless they're making a new division just for this fight, which I don't think they will, if they're not making a new division for this fight, I think this should happen at 170. And this will be a real champ versus champ matchup. Not the interim champ versus champ bullshit that the UFC loves to sell as champ versus champ. All of these are marketed as champ versus champ. They all got a belt. But some of these don't got the same weight as others. Sterling's belt didn't have the same weight as Jan's at this point. Poirier's didn't have the same weight as Khabib's. Gaethje's didn't have the same weight as Khabib's. Fucking Mickey Mouse ass belt from Yair right here. All of these are fake ass champ versus champ matchups. And we have some real ones, the one we just had with Islam versus JDM, real champ versus champ. Shevchenko versus John Whaley, another champ versus champ. I don't care what you say. I don't care that they're making them vacate now to go up. It's champ versus champ. They never lost the belt, okay? Makhachev, Volkanovski, Blachowicz versus Adesanya, okay? These are real champ versus champ shit. So here's what we need. I need Ian Gary to win, and I need him to be the next title challenger for Islam Makhachev at welterweight. Establish yourself as a welterweight champion, okay? You're obviously the pound for pound best in the world, but are you the welterweight champion? Ian is a very, very good matchup. It's a very interesting matchup for Islam. He's not somebody like an old Usman or an untested Morales or no grappling Prates. This is somebody that's well-rounded, in their prime, got so many skills up the wazoo, and you could sell this as fucking Ireland versus Dagestan. You totally could, put the flags on the flyer, on the poster. I can already imagine it. That would be a banger poster. And on the same card, and this needs to be on the same card for a good reason, I'll get to that. Ilia versus Armin for the lightweight belt. This is a banger matchup. For Ilia, this makes a lot more sense than Islam versus Ian Gary, because for Ilia, you're challenging Islam. You haven't fought a real wrestler like that, a caucus, a real grinder, grappler. Saryukin is a similar matchup. He's got similar wrestling pedigrees. He's the one that went toe to toe with Islam, and he's the number one contender and a big lightweight as well. Prove yourself at lightweight. Prove that you can hang against the grapplers. And if you win this, and Islam wins against Ian Gary, you have a real double champ versus double champ matchup. Because I am in the belief of you're not a true double champ unless you defend both your belts. Okay? It's just a gimmick if you're not defending your belt. And if they both achieve this on the same card, we would see 4 belts in the cage, 2 double champs facing off at this, for the first time ever. It would be fucking historic. And if they both win again, get them in the octagon for a face-off. You know how hard that'll go? Them looking at each other, Ilia 5'6", looking at Islam chatting shit. He'll probably push Islam. They got the 4 belts on their shoulders. This would do crazy numbers, bro. This would be, the first non-John Jones, non-McGregor pay-per-view that sells well. Both of these guys kind of have different fan bases. They're both kind of not the biggest in America, but combined, they would, people know about Islam and they know about Ilia Topuria, bro. This would be a banger. And if this fight happens, okay, put this anywhere. With Islam versus Ian Gary, and Ilia versus Arman, that should probably happen in the White House. Because there's no other special occasion for them to make it that stacked. Both of those fights, Islam versus Ian Gary, Ilia Topuria versus Arman Saryukin, both of those fights are pay-per-view headliners. The only reason for them to put them on the same card is at the White House. So fucking do it. Do it at that White House. But you could do it anywhere and put whatever on the undercard of these two, and it would bang. I would watch. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who you put, bro. Put goddamn Baghdad Amakana up in there. Put fucking Asu Amabayev on the main card. I don't give a fuck. If these two are the fights, dude, put whatever and put them wherever. And this fight would be a monumental one. This one would need we need to go back to fucking MGM Grand. We got to go to MSG. We got to go to a stadium in Spain. Something like that. It will be a monumental fight. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the potential matchmaking that we can do to get to Islam versus Ilia. I know a lot needs to, the stars really need to align for this to happen. But if it does, first of all, you're welcome. I spoke it into existence, but it would be such a fucking banger. Let me know what y'all think of this in the comments. Like and subscribe. Follow me on X. And yeah, man, I'll catch you out the next one. Peace.